Good morning. Plastic surgery post of day 1. For those of you na naka-join sa ating live yesterday, nag-announce ako na that was already my last live na ganon yung ating itsura. So, what I was born with. And today is post of day 1. Actually, nasa 12 hours post op pa lang tayo because my surgery yesterday started around 4 o'clock at natapos kami ng around 11 in the evening. So, it's a rhinoplasty and blepharoplasty procedure kasi marami tayong excess fats and skin sa ating mata, just like my mom, kaya nagpa-blepharoplasty yung mom ko. And for me, it is preventive. And for my nose naman, it's just enhancement. So no other reason, just enhancement. And don't worry, kung magagalit kayo, huwag kayong mag-alala. Hindi ko naman ito ginawa para sa inyo. Ginawa ko to for myself and for our low carb and fasting knowledge, of course. Nagpa-opera ako ng naka-fasting. Actually, yung surgeon ko, gustong-gusto na kumain ako at least 6 hours before my operation. And my operation usually expected to start around 3 and 4 in the afternoon. And nung 9 o'clock ng umaga, I really tried to eat. Kumuha talaga ako ng food. But when I tried to smell it, hindi ko pa talaga masikmura. Hindi ko makayang kumain. And that is because I have been so used to fasting na yung aking tiyan ay hindi na talaga activated. Hindi na siya umaandar kung umaga. Sanay na siya. My usual morning routine now is just directly go to work and sometimes I take coffee or tea or water. But actually, kapag meron akong trabaho, since in our work, nagkakaroon kami ng 6 to 8 hours straight ng operation ng walang CR break, walang kahit anong break in between. So usually, I also limit my intake of coffee because coffee is diuretic and even water. My last water intake is around 1 hour before ako magtrabaho, before magsimula yung operation because ayokong ma-disturb ako in the middle. Nakakahiyang humingi ka na naman ng bagong gloves at mag-excuse ka para lang umihi. So, I didn't do that and I just reassured my surgeon and my anesthesiologist na yun nga, sanay ako mag-fasting. They know me naman. Alam naman nila na parati ako nagpa-fasting for 24 hours, 48 hours. So, it's no big deal for me. But it's just that, hindi lang sila sanay na merong nagpa-fasting ng 24 hours before the surgery. But I assured them na it's okay. I'm used to it and I also do my monitoring, glucose and ketones at nag-sign naman ako. Meron akong willing ako mag-sign ng consent para wala naman silang liability if something goes wrong with the procedure. At alam nila, they trust me and I know myself well. Na alam kong masasurvive ko yung operation even without food intake. Nagle-lift nga tayo ng weights, di ba? Nag-exercise nga tayo on a fasted state at 36 hours. What more yung operation na matutulog ka lang? Yes, there's sedation and merong gagawin, but it's mostly just in the face. So, ilong and mata, and I will reveal myself to you kapag wala na yung maga. Kasi kapag ipapakita ko yung mata, matatakot kayo. And you will feel na baka hindi ito pwede para sa lahat. But no, this is just a fairly simple procedure and it was done under anesthesia care. At ngayon, I'm already at my sa 8 o'clock, nag-36 ako. 8, 9, 10, 11. So, 39 hours of fasting na ako after my surgery. Yes, meron antibiotic. Meron akong ininom na antibiotic. And antibiotics are usually given with food intake. Di ba? Alam niyo yon. Kaya nga maraming merong nagkaka-UTI o merong nagkaka-pneumonia while they are on low carb at nabibreak yung kanilang fasting because they have to take antibiotics. Actually, hindi naman requirement yung food intake sa antibiotic except for some. But generally, it is not tolerated by many. Hindi nila na-tolerate yung antibiotic kasi sumasakit yung sikmura nila at hindi nga nila yung iba nagkakaroon ng nausea, vomiting at hindi nila ma-tolerate. But for me who is so used to fasting, naka-take na ako ng 2 antibiotic. I'm about to take my 3rd antibiotic dose right now on a fasted state. At wala naman akong discomfort. This is true also for my mom because early last year ba yun? Or noong 2021, she was diagnosed with some lesion sa kanyang baga. And although negative naman siya for TB, pero the pulmonologist, yung protocol nila is to start complete yung 6-month anti-TB treatment para lang to ensure. Kasi nga sa mga elderly, sa mga senior, mas malaki yung risk of having tuberculosis na hindi lang asymptomatic, yung tinatawag nating asymptomatic. Wala siyang kahit anong manifestation. So, mommy completed that, and for those of you na merong kilala na nagkaroon ng TB at nag-anti-COX treatment, as what we call it, or anti-TB, anti-tuberculosis treatment, usually iniinom yan sa umaga on an empty stomach, around 5 tablets. And after 30 minutes or 1 hour, pwede nang kumain. But maming that time is already so used to fasting na nagpatuloy lang siya ng kanyang usual fasting. And we usually eat our first meal around 12 noon, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. So, ganon. So, it's my plastic surgery post of day 1. And I will show you, papunta kasi ako sa aking retreat. I will go on a 3-week retreat. Thank you to my mentors, to Faces, the facial aesthetics and facial aesthetic plastic core of ENT surgeons. That is where I am having my fellowship training right now. And I'm so happy sa support nila for my procedure, for doing the procedure themselves, and most especially to my surgeon, Dr. Edward Yap, the best rhinoplasty surgeon in the country for me, okay? And even in the world, because siya ang parang father of rhinoplasty, specifically for Filipino noses. Hindi sa lahat ng noses, but specifically for Asian and Filipino noses. Kaya I decided also to go into surgery, but more about rhinoplasty surgery and plastic surgery in another series of video that I will make. For now, let's focus on low carb and fasting. And yes, right now, nasa 39th hour of fasting na ako, and I am about to break my fast later kasi hindi pa rin ako gutom. Uhaw lang. I feel like I'm thirsty dahil siguro sa extended na dry fasting ko yesterday. But gusto ko lang uminom lang talaga ng malalamig. Kanina, uminom na ako ng cold coffee because of my surgery. Avoid muna ng maiinit because it can increase inflammation. Nakita niyo kanina yung story ko. I'm having ice pack sa aking mata and more on my nose because kapag meron kayong trauma, merong injury, merong nabunggo or anuman, always have ice pack ready. The first 24 to 48 hours, 1 to 2 days, kailangan i-ice nyo yon para yung pamamaga, yung inflammation, hindi siya lumobo. And your recovery will also be faster. First 2 days, kailangan cold compress muna. Around 2 days, pwede kayong mag-alternate cold and warm. But for me, it is more effective na cold lang muna until 2 days. And then comes 3 days, day 3, doon na kayo mag-warm compress. That's why on my way to my retreat, nagdala ko ng ice bucket for my first 48 hours of cold compress, and then nagdala rin ako ng hot water, ng kettle, electric kettle for my warm compress the days that will follow. And may pabaon yung sister ko sa akin before going to my retreat, and this one. So it's salmon, so isda, and some nuts. So yan yung aking baon. Nakakainin ko mamaya. Hindi ko alam kung anong oras ako magugutom. And also this Korean soup na merong mushroom and then beef and some tofu. Regarding tofu and soy products, meron tayong video about that. Kindly watch that. And before we end today's live, check natin yung ketones ko. Baka mamamatay na ako. Hindi naman. So, we are so used to fasting already. So, check natin yung ating glucose and ketones before we break our fast. So, again, I am already at my 39 hours of fasting. So, that's why kung hindi pa kayo sanay sa fasting, don't ever do this. Okay? Huwag itong gawin, especially if you are also not knowledgeable and kung wala kayong mga monitoring at hindi nyo pa napag-aralan mabuti what to expect, what to monitor, at kung ano-ano ang kailangan nating warning signs na dapat bantayan. So, first, on the side, always prick on the side. Yan, natakot na naman. Natakot na naman ako. So, yan, ouchie. So, always prick on the side. And then, for glucose first, check our glucose. Oops. Check natin yung ating glucose. Hindi ko na-prepare. So, yan. Wait until the sound beeps. Yan. And then, check natin yung ating glucose. So, habang hinihintay natin yung ating glucose, open na natin yung ating ketones monitor. Tapos, press lang para hindi magsara yung ating blood. So, my glucose is 82. Ay, Yan, 82. So 82 yung glucose ko at almost 40 hours of fasting. So hindi totoo na magiging hypoglycemic ka, na dangerous hypoglycemic, because our body is capable of gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis, gumagawa ng sariling glucose ang ating liver kapag ito ay kailangan na niya, even without food intake. Yun yung wonder, yun yung amazing. Bakit tayo nabubuhay kahit pa nung unang panahon, nung mga Holocaust, mga prisoners of war, sa mga panahon na meron talagang starvation and famine na hindi naman natin hinihingi. Pero, if that will happen, our body is actually capable. So, my ketones is 3.1. So, it is a high level of ketosis. Baka nasa 1 or 0.1 na tayo. But we can confirm that one. Check natin kung ano yung ating Keto Mojo na monitoring synchronize natin para ma-check natin yung ating GKI or Glucose Ketone Index. Tingnan natin. So, my Glucose Ketone Index is 1.4. So, yan. Nasa 1. Nasa na? 1.4. Okay? 1.4. Meaning, you are in a high level of GKI ketosis. So, for those using keto therapeutically for the treatment of diseases such as cancer, epilepsy, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, traumatic brain injury, especially sobrang daming TBI sa Pilipinas. TBI is yun yung traumatic brain injury sa mga taong nagmomotor. Nako, be very, very careful dyan. Hindi talaga mako-compensate yung masisave nyo sa motor sa risk of accidents. Nakakatakot. Wag na lang. Parkinson's disease, chronic inflammatory disease. So, that's why on my recovery, others will say, nagkasakit ako, so kakain ako ng kanin, kakain muna ako ng tinapay. Actually, no, you might want to increase more on your intake of proteins, healthy kind of proteins. And in my recovery phase, I will still continue to do low carb. So excited. Nandyan kasi ngayon, meron ng bagong nagluluto sa bahay ng sister ko, si Gina, and I'm so happy na kaya ako nakipagkapit-bahay sa sister ko para meron akong extra food sa panahong meron silang extra at nandito din ako and willing to take in extra. So so these are my food for later. At yun lang, maraming salamat everybody for all of your support and your prayers at kung ano-ano man na inyong mga good wishes for me. Maraming salamat po at maraming salamat din sa pagtanggap ng aking bagong nose and bagong mukha. Maraming salamat, especially to my family and friends and loved ones na all are very supportive with my decision. Thank you so much po. I'll see you again in our next video. Remember to always stay low carb so that, so that we all stay safe. Bye! Hindi lang ano yan. Sa ano ko na lang.